Liverpool versus Fulham and Arsenal against Everton. Both teams at home kicking off at the same time, and it looked like routine wins were on the cards. For Liverpool, barring Alexis McAllister through suspension, they looked like they had more than enough to put Fulham away. Fulham were coming off a hard fought and impressive 1-1 draw against Arsenal last week and came out of the blocks looking positive. Thought the first 15 minutes Fulham were excellent on the front foot away at Anfield. The combination plays were nice. Jimenez holding and knocking the ball down well, and that opener in the first 10 minutes, it was just pure class. The pass from Diop at centre half makes it. He fizzes it into midfield, and then the ball is switched to Anthony Robertson, who curls in a beautiful cross towards the far stake, and Andreas Pereira stretches to give Fulham a deserved lead at Anfield. And a few minutes later, Liverpool's evening unraveled with Robertson's red card. He has been struggling throughout the season, and this game just proved to be a step too far. It was clear as day. The touch is poor, and the challenge even worse. He was the last man, and it gives Liverpool a mountain to climb. But credit to Slot here, he doesn't really panic. I think he had an opportunity to make a sub, but he doesn't rush at it. He just drops Gravenberg, the number 6, into centre half. Gakpo and Trent holding the width, and Diaz and Salah playing as split strikers. But what stood out to me in the first half was Fulham's choice and weight of passes. They were really something else. Hours on the training ground spent, and they had those nearly moments to add to the lead, but they were wasteful in the final third. I thought the two centre halves, Diop and Cuenca, were having top games. Diop, who was booked early on, played with real composure, and Cuenca, in just his fourth game for Fulham, stepped in and looked the part. Liverpool offered little to nothing going forward in the first half, and it was more down to Marco Silva's tactics to stretch the pitch as they were getting so much joy in those wide areas. A constant threat to make it 2-0. There was so much going on in that first half. Arne Slot was looking at his team not able to cope, had to make another tweak in the game to cope with what Fulham were throwing at them. This time we saw Joe Gomez playing in at left back and Trent slotting in at right side at centre half. Constant shuffling within the system here. A switch of play though was on for Fulham, and they kept finding that spare man when looking to break. A big second half was needed for Liverpool. And in the other game at halftime at the Emirates, Arsenal's struggles in front of goals continue. It was 0-0. And surely news would have spread about Liverpool's situation, down a goal and a man. This is where you need to raise your levels collectively. But it was a familiar pattern for Arsenal. It was more probing rather than piercing, as Sean Dyche wanted to leave with a point by any means necessary. And at half time, Chelsea Nation are sitting up here. Arsenal and Liverpool 45 minutes away from drop points. And 2 minutes into the second half, Salah delivers an inch perfect ball to Gakpo, who just nods home for the leveller. 100 assists for Salah in Liverpool colours. Just incredible production on top of his goal scoring. And that goal gave the team the lift, and the crowd responded. Anfield was loud. That sound is amplified when they are defending corners, because what happens more often than not is when Liverpool break from their own box defending corners, they break with pace and numbers, a scary sight to see. I remember Aston Villa a couple of weeks back feeling the full effects of it, but on this occasion Salah hits wide, but Liverpool were very much controlling and handling the man disadvantage very well. Arne Slot has a lot of options on the bench because a lot of energy was being spent as Fulham continued to play. Iwobi, a constant outlet, but his end product was frustrating for Marco Silva and the Fulham fans to see all evening. But it was Marco Silva's double sub that paid dividends. That move, again so fluid, started off by the excellent Anthony Robinson. A nice pass and move sequence as Wilson and Iwobi combined, and Robinson cuts it across to the substitute Rodrigo Muniz with a clever flicked finish to give Fulham the lead. And again, the weight of pass in that move, very good to see. I thought Anthony Robertson was having a top quality game. I saw his 1v1 defending against Saka last week and now against Salah. Just shows that he is more than a capable defender, and going forward, he has real quality. A lot of top teams in the Prem will be keeping an eye on him if they haven't already, as they look for a left back man of the match performance for me. But with 10 minutes left, the options that Slot had on the bench comes into play as he throws in Jota and Elliott on top of Nunez to salvage something, and he gets the reward 5 minutes later. The two subs, Nunez and Jota, combining as Jota absolutely sits down Cuenca, who was having an excellent game up until then, and buries the finish past Leno. But with 5 minutes plus 9 minutes of added on time, I thought Fulham did very well to weather the storm and come away with a point at Anfield. And it's Fulham that take 2 points of Arsenal last week and now 2 points of Liverpool. A real brotherly London gesture towards Chelsea, and it's back-to-back draws for the league leaders Liverpool. And as for Arsenal, their game ended 0-0. Yet another damaging draw for them. Their third straight game in the Premier League where they haven't scored from open play. Winning 8 games out of 16, and these draws are really starting to add up now. 6 of them, and it really is chopping down on their title aspirations. This was a game where Arteta seemed desperate to find solutions within his system. He made like-for-like substitutions throughout the game, taking away any of that risk aspect. He took off Odegaard and Rice with 30 minutes to play, and that rarely happens. But Odegaard was having one of those games where nothing was going right for him. But maybe have him and Wanyeri as the two number 10s? I don't know. But those 5 subs made in that 10 to 15 minute period yielded very little, despite the immense and relentless pressure that was being put on Everton. They really were resolute and were full value for the point. A full-on defensive masterclass in Sean Dyche's 500th game as manager, and Arsenal continue the theme of back-to-back draws. Now that result has really opened it up for the teams between 4th and 7th. Just a couple of days back, I said that Arsenal were in a rough spot in 3rd, having to worry about City on their coattails. That's no longer a possibility. It's very much a reality if the Manchester derby at the Etihad goes the way it normally does. But now Forest are 2 points behind in 4th, and Brighton, if they can navigate past Palace at home, are sniffing around. And it is hectic times for Arteta and Arsenal, and the games tonight will have massive implications. Will City start to turn the season around, and can Chelsea capitalize with Arsenal and Liverpool dropping points?